have joy. We have rest. We are forever. Our love never ends. Never ever ends. Our love never ends. Just keeps going on out. Our love never ends. Our love never ends. Thank you. You may be seated.
And what a circle of love we've created, a circle of hope for children and for families that know that they matter. They matter just because they're alive, because they breathe, because they share the planet with us. We don't even have to know who they are, and we know that they matter. And we share our bounty and our joy. And what an extraordinary thing that is, to just allow the good to flow, to allow ourselves to really see how full and rich our lives are. And of course, that's what we're doing this whole entire month. What we do on Thanksgiving when our table is groaning with food and our bellies are groaning with food, and we think, oh, we're so grateful for the beauty and the joy and the abundance that we have in our lives. And so we're spending this whole month on that. Our book of the month is the Secret Book of Gratitude. And if you're not working it, I invite you to get it and start working it. It's an amazing gratitude journal. And we have some folks who are doing a Wednesday series, Sandra and Cindy, and going deeper and deeper into the practice of gratitude. And we talk about gratitude a lot. We think of gratitude as something that is a deep spiritual principle. And it's also something we were taught as children, isn't it? To be grateful, to say thank you, to just say thank you. I learned gratitude because it was polite. It was the polite thing to do. You always said thank you. When we got Christmas presents from our family, from our friends and family in Germany, we would get these huge boxes, and they would be filled with presents for everybody. It was like having Christmas all over again. And my mother would be like, you have to write your thank you notes. And we would sit down, and within the first 2 weeks, if you didn't have them done by the end of January, you were in serious trouble with my mother. The thank you notes had to be done because it was polite. Somebody had given you something, somebody had given us something, and we learned to say gratitude, say thank you. So there's a lot we can say about gratitude, and then there comes a point where I think, what else is there to say about gratitude? What are we going to talk about? So this is my title, From Green to Gratitude. What do you think the green means? You betcha. No, not recycling, but it could, right? We're well trained. I love that. But I heard it over there. I heard it out in the room. Green with envy, jealousy, right? Green with envy and jealousy. So it's an interesting thing to think about when we think about gratitude and what a deep spiritual practice is. And and then there's that place where maybe we have a little trouble. We have a little circle that we draw around. I'm grateful for these things in my own life, but I'm not so sure about those other things over there. Sometimes we find it challenging to be grateful for other people's good, I think. And we are not always clear about how to respond to that. I grew up in my family, my sister and I, we were the only two kids, and my sister was 2 years older than me, but by 7 years old, I was as tall as she was, and by 8, I was taller. And she was not so happy about this fact. And then my mother would make all of our clothes. And when she dressed us alike, we looked like twins. My sister was not happy about that either. Oh, no. And she would go to dance lessons and go with her friends to play softball, and I would sort of tag along behind. And they would say, well, what about her? She's big enough. Let's have her play. Oh, my sister was not so happy about that either. Now, me, I was minding my own little business. I'll play, sure. I want to play. I want to dance. Let's go. Because I thought my sister hung the moon, right? She was my big sister. I wanted to do everything that she did. She was not so happy about that. I was, I think, in my late 20s when my mother said to me, your sister always felt like you were in competition with her. And I was like, are you serious? Yeah, she always felt like you were competing with her, like you were always trying to get in on everything. I was just showing up. I was completely oblivious to this fact, except that I learned how not to shine. I learned how never to be better than my sister at things. I learned how to moderate the way that I showed up because it was clear that our family had some pretty deep sibling rivalry in it. Now, I know that every family doesn't have that, and I think that's an amazing thing if you grew up without that. It was very challenging in many ways, and I learned how to lose, and I learned how to be less than because I didn't want that feeling of tension or discomfort. So we're going to talk about from green to gratitude, envy and jealousy. These are powerful words. And if we were going to define envy or jealousy, if you were going to define it, how would you define it? What would you say is the definition of envy? Fear, okay. Comparison. I heard something back there. The death of joy. Feeling less than.
Angry that someone has something you don't.
Angry that someone has something that you don't. Coming from a place of scarcity. Impoverished. Resentment. Good. Hang on just a second. Feeling separate. Comparing my insides with your outsides. Ooh, your outsides look pretty good. Am I as good in here? Wow, you look like you got a promotion. You look like you got a cool job. You got a cool car. You must have a lot of money. You look like you have your life together. So, what's wrong with me? So I looked up envy and jealousy. And the consistent thing that was in the definition, resentment. Resenting that somebody has something that we think we should, or resenting something that they have because we think they don't deserve it, or there's not going to be enough, or whatever it is. But the key factor in this idea of envy and jealousy is resentment, and I think comparison. And of course, what happens with the comparison is we decide that we fall short, and so we are resentful. Or we think they really fell short, and we're resentful that they got something that we actually aren't certain that they deserved. Now, we probably don't do this on some large scale. Most of us are pretty deeply spiritual, and we have decided to walk a spiritual path to the best of our ability. You know, the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, or the donkey, or the whatever else it is that they have. We know better, right? We know better. So just how did you sign that, Willie? You spelled donkey. Well, there you go. Didn't point to some part of the anatomy or anything. Okay. It's all good. It's good. Yeah, so we actually know this, right? We actually know not to do this. And yet, in subtle ways, Aren't there subtle ways that we have that experience sometimes? Ways in which we assuage our sense of comparison, or, well, really rich people, they're not really all that happy. How many of us have thought that or said that? Oh, there's lots of studies, those people that are all so successful, they look so successful on the outside, but we know what's really going on in there. We play these subtle games with ourselves. And often when we feel resentment, there is a criticism that comes with that. We're either criticizing ourselves for not measuring up, and if we have a tendency to do that, what we don't realize is that we are subtly, unconsciously trying to demean or diminish the other person, trying to drag them down to how we feel. And if we have a tendency to be criticizing and judging others because really they don't deserve it, like, how did they get that promotion? Who was the boss really paying attention? When we do that, do you see what we're doing is we're projecting outward onto other people the criticism that we actually do to ourselves but can't bear to and so we turn it outward. And in every case, we are forgetting the truth of who we are. We're forgetting the truth of who we are, and we're forgetting the truth of that other person. We're forgetting that when we come into the spiritual walk, when we decide to practice a spiritual practice and we discover, wait, but Spirit is here. God is who I am. The I that I am. This is the truth of my being, is the divine presence, and I'm love and light incarnate. We can forget that when it feels like somebody has things that we thought we wanted or deserved. And then what do? Not only do we criticize ourselves, but we wonder why our prayers aren't answered. What did I do wrong? Did I not pray right? Did I not do my affirmation right? So what's the matter with me? Or with that criticism and judgment that we have for others, is we forget that when we teach that I am the divine presence, this is not an exclusionary statement. This is not a statement of superiority. Oh, I'm a child of God. No. Do you see? When I say I'm a child of God, the I am that I am is the truth of my being. I am immediately understanding that that's the truth about your being as well. That the I that I am, that you are, is the divine expression of God too. And that's true for all beings everywhere. That's true for every person that walks the face of the planet. Now, I may not approve of the behavior. I may actually seek to cause the behavior to stop. I may seek to separate the behavior from my own life or the life of any community that I'm a part of. But I know that this is the truth of the beingness of every human being, of all beings everywhere. So when I am feeling resentful, I am not seeing that truth, either in myself or in someone else. Now, we know that gratitude is a powerful practice. We know to be grateful for the air that we breathe, and we know to be grateful for the roof over our heads and the people in our lives. And many of us, we've done countless gratitude journals, and we really have experienced this movement where we learn to be grateful in our own lives. And I wonder whether there's another place that we might go. I think that's spiritual 101, gratitude, learning to be grateful, spiritual 101, but there's graduate school to gratitude. There is a gratitude graduate school. Do you want to go? All right. Gratitude graduate school is being as grateful for the good in someone else's life as we seek to be for the good in our own. That's gratitude graduate school. Can we actually celebrate the good that person has as opposed to resent it? Can we actually celebrate the wealth that person has and the good that they can do with it? Can we actually see the profound gift that they are to the world because that person has received a promotion or has been chosen for something or has received something, even if their prayer has been answered before ours? Do you see, gratitude and resentment can't live in the same place. They can't live in the same state. And so when we practice gratitude for other people's good, for the very good that we might have envy or jealousy about, we've completely neutralized that resentment. And we've shifted ourselves into an entirely different place. And we know that those things that we are grateful for, they grow. The good grows. Oh, well, now you're asking me to be grateful so I can grow that other person's good? It's an interesting thing to think about, where our minds go, right? What if we simply understood that in gratitude, good grows? All good. And if we are all connected, we teach that the harm that I do for you, I actually do on myself. The harm that I do to you, I actually do to myself, because we're all one. How much more true is this? That the good that I do with you, the gratitude that I have for your good, I'm learning to have gratitude for my own good. Some of us have a challenge being grateful for our own good. Some of us have a challenge accepting our own good, and so maybe it's easier to accept someone else's good, because that's something that we can see and know about them. So having gratitude for their good helps us grow our ability to be grateful. And having gratitude for our own good, we can practice gratitude for another's. This is the graduate school of gratitude. I posted on my Facebook page a few days ago an article that I saw. I hope you were able to find it and that you saw it. It was an article about relationships. What causes long-term relationships to last? And ultimately, there are two things that cause a long-term relationship to last. The one is kindness, and the other is the availability and the presence that two people have to each other. They call it turning in toward each other. So when someone points out something, you're on a walk and someone points out something, oh, look at that beautiful tree. You don't just go, oh, yeah. You go, wow, that's a beautiful tree. I love the color of it. Why? Because that person is actually inviting you into their world. They call it a bid. It's a bid for connection. Let's connect. It's not about the tree at all. It's a bid for connection. Like the little kid, mommy, mommy, look at me, look at me, look at me. Right? It's a bid for connection. We do that as adults too. And when two people turn in towards each other, when a family turns in towards each other and actually responds to these things, more often than not, that relationship has a chance to survive. That family has a chance to stay whole. Why? Because there's a recognition that other person's good is important. That what is important to them and the good that they are experiencing or receiving or wanting to share with us, do you see? It's important. It matters. And so when we connect, then that relationship is strengthened. When we have gratitude for someone else's good, our relationships are strengthened. Our workplaces are strengthened. Our families are strengthened. Our community is strengthened. So, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes for just a moment. And I want you to, as you close your eyes for just a moment, I want you to cast your mind over this past year. Since January of this year. And I want you to think about one really wonderful or amazing thing that has happened to you this year. To you. Not to your mom or your child or somebody you love or care about. To you. One amazingly good thing that has happened to you. Big or small, doesn't make any difference. Maybe it's It's that thing that you wish you could shout from the rooftops, or that you've written about, or that you've just are so excited happened this year. So grateful. All right, and as you call that up, I want you to form it into a single sentence. I am grateful for blah, blah, blah this year. Or I am grateful for blah, blah, blah in my life. Something that has happened to you, not a person, not the roof over your head, not the air that you breathe. Something that has happened, that you've accomplished, that you've experienced, that you've done, that you is a good for you. Okay? And then one sentence. I am grateful for this thing in my life, or this thing this year. Okay? So this is the participation part of today's service. So what I'm going to ask you to do, as you are able, I'm going to ask you to get up, and I'm going to ask you to find 3 people in the room. 3, this is 3. 3 people in the room. And you are going to say to that person, to 3 different people, I am grateful for X, Y, Z in my life. You're going to say whatever it is out loud. The same thing each time. Just that one sentence. And when somebody says that sentence to you, what I want you to say back is, I am so glad that happened for you this year. Nothing more. I am so glad that happened for you this year. All right? And so when you've exchanged that with each other, then you go on to another person, 3 people, and then find your seat again. All right? Ready, set, go. You've gotten your 3 people, then we'll return to our seats. Yay. All right, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions. The first question is, how was it to share that? Wow, feels good, doesn't it? Okay, what was wonderful about sharing it? Owning it? I heard somebody in the back here. Releasing it. Sharing the joy of it. Knowing people were going to be happy about it. Oh, I had this really good thing happen to me yesterday. Don't hate me, but they... How many of us have said that? Yeah. Feeling supported.
Yeah, the sense of connection when people actually see and hear you.
Yes, good. The sense of connection when people actually see and hear you.
Each time the energy got better and better.
Each...
And the receiver got, the person I was telling, his response or her response was better.
Yes, good. Okay, good. So it grows. Yes? Good. Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. First, right now we're just talking about sharing our joy. Good. Reliving it.
Acknowledging happiness.
Acknowledging happiness.
Being present in the moment.
Yeah, being present in the moment with it. Beautiful. So look at all the just really empowering things when we are willing to say, this amazing thing happened to me. Oh, man. And how often don't we? Because we are concerned about the response. Right? Yeah. Do you know that in corporate America, they've done studies, and they say that the average grade level at which relationships are being handled in corporate America, actually in most workplaces, 7th grade. Yeah. Remember 7th grade? Yeah, not so pretty. Not so fun. Right? Why? Because we're still behaving like we did as kids. We're still behaving like out of our family dynamic. I could still be behaving in the dynamic of my family, of my childhood, or I can grow myself up. Which is what we do here. We spiritually mature. We grow ourselves up. And so we learn how to say these things, not in a bragging way, but in a, oh my God, isn't this amazing? Because we actually want to share our joy, and we want to connect with someone because that is an empowering thing to do. Yeah, good. All right. So how was it to listen to someone share their good and respond to them? Yummy. Yeah. Good. Yeah. You held more love for them than you did in your own share. Good. What else? It was liberating for you. Beautiful. Yes.
I really felt their joy when they told me. I really felt that, and it made me feel so good, and I wanted to steal them up.
Yes. Feeling their joy, and it makes us feel good, right? And we want to respond. What else? Exciting. Good. Now, okay.
Well, communication.
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 Yes, and so we get to connect. Good. Trusted. Oh, see, because you weren't going to have that feeling of, well, yeah, it happened to you. How, whatever that is, blah, blah, blah. Good. But to just allow yourself to be present. So what an amazing opportunity we have before us to really share in each other's good. So this is an amazing thing to do, to be able to say, oh my God, this fabulous thing happened to me. Now, you probably don't want to actually do that with everyone. Right? Why? Why should you share your dreams with someone who's going to shoot them down? Really? What's the point? Why should you share your good with someone who is going to have judgment, comparison, feel bad in their own lives? You're not going to change them. That's not the point. The point is to just love people for where they are. And then you find people with whom you can have this kind of grown-up relationship. This is a grown-up, spiritually mature relationship. I'm speaking my good out of the I that I am. Wow, I did this prayer and look at how it manifested. And out of the I that you are, you see that in me. And then I see that back in you. And we can celebrate how Spirit is showing up in our lives and how love is pouring forth and how joy is being expressed. We are good at holding each other's hands, and boy, can we talk about things on the telephone when it is not going well. Can you believe what happened? I can't believe it. Oh, we can go on for hours and hours and hours. Now you call your girlfriend or your best friend. Wow, I got promoted. That is so good. Next. Right? What if we said as many things about what was going well as we did about commiserating? You got a promotion. How did that happen? What did he say? What did you say? How did that happen? Did you get prepared? What happened? What was the result? Right? All the same questions. You went to the doctor. Oh my God, what did the doctor say? And then what did you say? And then what happened? And then what was the, right? We go down that road for the not so good stuff. We want all the juicy details. Why not get all the juicy details about how amazing this experience was? This amazing trip, this amazing promotion, this new business that's gotten started, this connection with a friend, this awesome meal that you cooked, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That was another thing that this article talked about. When someone shares their good in a healthy relationship, when someone shares something good that happens, rather than having that sort of, there's the actively destructive response, which is, well, do you think you can handle it? All that good that came to you? Now what are you going to do? That's like actively destructive. And then there was the passively destructive that said, well, do you think they really meant it to give you the promotion? Then there's the passively constructive, which is, well, that's nice, honey. Right? That's passively constructive. All of those are negative responses. The positive response is, tell me more. Tell me about it. So what happened, right? That engagement that allows someone to really share their good. Oh my God, I bucked up my courage and I went right in there and I said what I needed to say, and wow, they listened. I was so excited. They took my idea, whatever that is, you see? Well, tell me more. And how did that feel? And then what happened? And then what happened? Now that experience of being validated, do you see it goes both ways? Now there's connection. Out of that communication, there's this connection that happens. And I see the God presence. I share it, I see it, and we're in it together. Do you see? This is gratitude graduate school. That's what this is. All right, so I'm going to close with a little video for you that I found on YouTube.
It all started with a simple desire, to live on the brighter side of life. We found 30 bloggers and challenged them to take note of life's little blessings and give thanks for 21 days. This is what we learned.
A tornado had touched down about half a mile from our house on the third day of my gratitude challenge. The storm gave our community an opportunity to grow, and it showed me how a small town can truly work together in a time of need.
was a terrifying accident, but through the goodness of strangers, the help of friends, and the grace of God, we are still here and able to give thanks for another day.
When we found out last year that our youngest son would be our third child on the autism spectrum, we had so many different emotions. We weren't sure if we'd ever see him do things like smiling or getting a buzz cut, riding a scooter, or even speaking. We had no reason to think we'd ever see these things, but every reason to believe we would. We chose to believe.
Take note, give thanks, and join the movement.
So a fabulous gratitude challenge. It's been going on since 2009, and occasionally you'll see people start writing their gratitudes on Facebook or different places. And so this is actually not the challenge that I want to invite you into. This is something I think many of us do, and we do well, and I encourage you to continue to do it. The challenge I actually invite you to do this week, this next 21 days, is to be the person who brings gratitude for another's good into the room. Be the one who asks the questions, who celebrates, who is willing to, without judgment or comparison or resentment, to fully embrace and be grateful for another person's good. I invite you to that practice for the next 21 days. Let us pray. So much to be grateful for. Grateful for the presence of Spirit, grateful for love in our lives, grateful for truth and health and wholeness. So much to be grateful for. And now we know that those around us, they have things to be grateful for too. And in all of this good, the very love of life, the very presence of Spirit, the very divine reality is pouring itself into life. And as we felt that excitement building, and as we shared our good with each other, and we celebrated each other's good, do you see, we were bringing love into the world. We were being the spark of the divine as us, as giver, as receiver, as doer, as acknowledger. Each one of us bringing the divine presence into the room in the moment. And in that moment, heaven is revealed on earth. So this morning, as we have shared in this deep and powerful practice of gratitude, let us affirm that we are grateful for every good that shows up in the world. We are grateful for every good that shows up in our own lives and in the lives of those we love, in the lives of our friends and family, in the lives of our coworkers, in the lives of the people that we barely know but see every day. We are grateful for the helping hands that lift lives around the planet. We are grateful for the people who give millions of dollars so that polio can be eradicated on the planet, so that AIDS can be taken care of, so that peace will break out in places that we've never even heard of. And we are so grateful every time Spirit bursts forth in someone's life, because we know every bit of it is a blessing. Every bit of it contributes. And we are grateful for being a part of declaring heaven on earth. And so it is.
girls had a wonderful day today. We talked about gratitude and the importance of gratefulness. So they're each going to express to you their gratitude and what it means to them. And I'm going to let them do it on their own. So,
Okay, my name is Reggie, and I am grateful for smiles. My name is Corinne, and we are grateful for God's love.
My name is Stone, and we are grateful for family.
My name is Temo, and we are grateful for each other.
My name is Montu, and we are grateful for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.